Good day, duelists! One of the questions I get asked most in comments on YouTube and other socials is, what is the game code that I am using in my videos to play Duel Masters? Well, duelists, today I'm here to tell you all about OCTGN. Yes, that's the name of the platform I and a lot of other people are using to play Duel Masters in 2024, and it's in my opinion the best way to play English Duel Masters online, at least as of making this video. It's spelled OCTGN, pronounced OCTGN, and in this video I'm going to show you everything from where to get it, how to set it up, and how to use it to play Duel Masters in a hopefully easy to follow step-by-step tutorial. Without further ado, let's get into it. The very first thing that you do is head on over to OCTGN.net, and from here I guess a good place to start would be to register an account. So I will just make an account for myself. And once you've created your account, you will receive an activation code via email. So this is my activation code, this is what it should look like, and as soon as you've hit verify, you are set to go on your account. But we need to do one more thing, so we will return to the homepage and hit download over here and click download OCTGN for Windows. And your download will start, and as soon as it's over you can go ahead and run the setup. You can just click next on everything if you don't care about setting things up differently, and this will install the OCTGN platform on your system. It doesn't take long, as you can see. We can now close this window and we can start the OCTGN program from wherever you installed it. So as soon as you start up OCTGN, you should be seeing a screen like this, and once the loading is done you will have to agree to their terms of service, and then you will be greeted by the welcome screen, which we might as well make full screen. Once you're here you will have to log in with the username you just created. And there we go, now we are in. Keep in mind though that OCTGN is a platform used to play many different games, and so we will have to go to Games Manager and install Duel Masters for ourselves. So I clicked on Games Manager, this will always take a while, and once we're there we will have to install the Duel Masters game within OCTGN. So just go over here and look for Duel Masters. It's over here, they're sorted alphabetically, and once you found it you can hit install. This might take a while, so you can have yourself a cup of tea while we wait. Once this check mark appears here, it means that the Duel Masters game has been installed. However, for legal reasons OCTGN is not allowed to have the Duel Masters images themselves within the program, so we will have to download what's called an image pack from an external source. You can probably find some image packs out there by just googling for OCTGN Duel Masters image pack, but you can also download one from this link right here, which you can copy manually. At least for now it is available, depending on when you might be watching. You will just go to download, and this might take a while because the whole image pack, because these are high resolution images, has almost 1 GB, so you will have to wait for about 10 minutes. But the good news is that this is the last step that we need to take before playing Duel Masters. So once this download is complete, we can go back to OCTGN and click on Add Image Packs from the Game Manager tab. And now we'll just have to navigate to wherever you downloaded it. For me it's in Downloads, double click it, and again it will take a while for the image pack to install, but after that we're done. And with this final pop-up, we are now ready to play Duel Masters on OCTGN. Great, we are finally ready to play. That wasn't that hard, was it? I guess the first thing that you would like to do is create a deck, so you can hit this button here that says Deck Editor, and you can go ahead and make whatever deck you'd like. It's important to know that OCTGN supports the newer Japanese cards as well, but since this is a tutorial for English Duel Masters, if you want to see just the English cards, you can filter here by format and type TCG. So this will show you only the cards that are available for the English Duel Masters game. And now you can go ahead and build your deck. You can just browse through the cards here, or you can filter. For example, if I want to add Aqua Hulkus to my deck, I can filter by name and say Aqua Hulkus. And to add a card, You can pick whichever art you want. To add a card, you can either double click it or you can press enter. And so now I have 4 copies of Aqua Halcus in my deck. And we can just repeat that to add a whole bunch of cards to my deck. I'll just make something completely random with just some cards for the purposes of this tutorial. You can also, for example, filter by civilization if I want just water cards. And I can browse through them. Let's make like a mono water thing with angle cluster. Why not? Why not? There we go. We have a deck. Now, in order to save your deck, you're gonna need to go to deck and then save. And this will prompt you to save your Duel Masters deck, which is just a file on your hard drive like any other file. You can save it wherever you want, you can put it on your desktop, you can put it wherever. But when you first click save, you are put in the default decks folder, which is where I recommend you keep all of them for easy access. So let's just name it Water Deck and then hit save. So now that we have our deck, we can close the deck builder. And so let's just go ahead and play a game. You can go ahead and click Game Lobby to see which games are available. You can check the only show installed games if you'd like to only see Duel Masters ones. So the way this works is people host games by creating rooms and then you can join the room to play with them. So for example, I could double click on this to join the game of YLI, but I think we can just host our own game and wait for people to join. So I clicked on host game and I can give my game whichever name I'd like. Let's play Duel Masters TCG. And then I can click start. After a little loading time, we will have this window, which is our room. So people will be able to see it over here and they can double click on it to join. So for now, we just gotta wait and hope that a player joins our game. And what do you know, a worthy opponent has shown up. So after somebody has shown up to your game, you can configure options here. For example, I will disable spectators because we don't want anyone watching our game for now. And then we can hit start. And we are finally taken into the game window, which I will go ahead and maximize. The first thing that you want to do is to load your deck. So you can go in game, load deck, and here again you can pick any file from anywhere on your hard drive. We'll just go to the default deck location and double click on our water deck to load it. And there we go, it's shown up here. So the one important thing that you need to understand about OCTGN is that it's not actually a game in that it's not playing the game automatically. It's a simulator, meaning that you have to do everything manually. It's like playing over the board. So nothing stopping me from drawing a whole bunch of cards here if I so want to. Nothing stopping me from putting some cards on the board. Nothing stopping me from, well, doing anything really. But of course, if we want to play a game of Duel Masters, we have to play by the rules and hope that our opponent does the same. Pretty much everything that you do in OCTGN you can do with right click. So if I right click on this Aqua Halcus, I can do play card, set a shield, charges mana, random discard. I can do a whole bunch of things. Or if I click on the board, I can, for example, if I click on this Aqua Vehicle, I can tap untap it. Then I click on the board, I hit untap all. So pretty much, you know, you can select things with your mouse, you can drag things around with your mouse, and you can right click for more options. But if we want to actually play a duel of Duel Masters, the easiest way to do so is right click and then click on Setup Battle Zone. Once you've clicked yes, this will set you up for a brand new game of Duel Masters, which will mean that your deck gets shuffled, 5 shields get put down, and you draw a hand of 5 cards. After our opponent has done the same, we are ready to begin. Generally, in order to decide who goes first, you can right click and hit roll die. So we rolled a 1 out of 20, and then our opponent can do the same, and they rolled a 19 out of 20, so they will go first. So what do we do here? Well, we just play a game of Duel Masters. I assume people watching this video know the basic rules, so the first thing we do on our turn is we draw a card. You can drag it with your mouse button, or you can right click and click this draw card button, whichever you prefer. Then the next thing we do, of course, is charge mana. Which card do we want to charge? Let's say you want to charge this Aqua Surfer. Like I said, everything can be done by right clicking on things. So we will right click and then charge as mana. And let's say we want to summon this Aqua Guard, we can right click, tap our mana, and drag this, either drag the Aqua Guard into the battle zone, like this, or we can also right click and play card. And then we have to pass the turn to our opponent, so we have to right click and hit end turn. So our opponent took his turn as well. As you can see, when he ended the turn, our mana automatically untapped. So there are some things that are automated in the client, but not a lot of them. So let's say that for our turn, we again charge mana, tap 2, and summon an Aqua Vehicle. And then we have to pass the turn to our opponent. Once again, you see how my mana is untapped. As soon as my turn starts, it automatically untaps for me, which is nice. I will draw a card. And let's say that I want to charge an Aqua Vehicle and I want to tap this mana to summon an Aqua Halcus. Now, as soon as I hit play card, you will see a window here that appears that asks you if you want to draw a card or not, because Aqua Halcus says when you put this creature into the battle zone, you may draw a card. So you're asked if you want to draw this card. If you hit yes, it will automatically draw the card for you. So again, some things are automated, some effects are automated, some things will happen automatically, some things you will have to do manually. Now, we could break a shield with Aqua Vehicle. Let's just do that. How do we do that? Well, you right click, of course, to tap your card, and then if you want to target things in this game, you can hold down the shift key on your keyboard, and then you either click like this, you can press the escape key to clear all targets, or you can also hold down the shift key once again and drag your mouse like this to draw arrows to things. So if I tapped this and I draw an arrow to this shield, my opponent will understand that I am attacking one of their shields. Let's end our turn for now. What will our opponent do? Well, this is dangerous. Our opponent is summoning a Scowling Tomato and a Macho Melon, assembling their veggie army. And they tapped their Spectral Horn and is targeting one of our shields. Now, we could of course block with the Aqua Guard here. If we wanted to block, we can of course right click and tap it. But for the sake of exercise, let's just let them break our shield. So, how do we do this? Well, of course we right click. And then we look through our options, we see destroy card or break shield. So we hit this, and then the shield gets automatically put into our hand. If, for example, we had a shield trigger here, so let's just, for the sake of exercise, set this Aqua Surfer as a shield. When you hit destroy card, you are asked, would you like to use the shield trigger ability? And if you hit yes, the creature or spell or whatever is automatically summoned. But of course this was not the case, so I will right click and charge it back into our mana zone. So now once again, when our opponent ends the turn, all of our cards untap, we draw a card and we start our new turn. And what a nice draw this is. I will go ahead and charge this Aqua Halcus. And then let's tap 4 mana and summon our Crystal Paladin. Now how do we do that? Well, if you try to right click and play this card, it will tell you here, cannot play card, you must target a creature to evolve first. Hint, shift click a card to target it. So let's say we shift click our Aqua Guard to evolve on top of it, we right click, play card, and then all of a sudden, bam, we have our Crystal Paladin. And of course, since it's an evolution creature, we can attack with it. And let's say that we want to destroy this Spectral Horn, we can just target it like this. And then our opponent will go ahead and destroy it because our Crystal Paladin is stronger. And we could go ahead and break some shields, but let's just end our turn for now. So it looks like our opponent keeps assembling their vegetable army with Karate Potato. Let's see what else they do. They will start to go for our shield. So once again, we right click, destroy card or break shield, and there we go, we have a shield trigger, so we can just use the shield trigger ability of Aqua Surfer. Of course, when Aqua Surfer is put into the battle zone, you may choose a creature and return it to its owner's hand. Let's say that we want to return this Macho Melon, and our opponent will kindly put it into their hand, and now their tomato is breaking another one of our shields, so let's put that into our hand as well. The opponent ending their turn, all of our cards untap, we draw a card, and I guess this would be a very good time to play Corel, which of course we have to target something. Let's put this Karate Potato, and our opponent will take it and put it on top of their deck. Now we can just destroy their creature, so the Crystal Paladin can kill their tomato. and the Aqua Halcus can kill this Macho Melon. And of course now we can start to go for some shields as well. There we go. We can end the turn here, and it is our opponent's turn, and it is looking good for us. Let's see, our opponent will go ahead and play a couple of creatures here and then end their turn. And with our turn coming along, it is time to charge a mana and summon our boss monster, of course. Like before, because it's an evolution creature, we have to target something to evolve it on top of. So we can just target it and double click our Crystal Lancer to summon it onto the board. Then we can, of course, tap or untap to break 2 shields. And with no shield trigger from our opponent, our Crystal Paladin can just deliver the final blow. And just like that, we have won a game of Duel Masters. Now usually in a tournament setting, matches are played in a 2 out of 3 format, so if we would like to set up for a new game, say go to game 2, we would of course right click and set up battle zone once again, and after our opponent has done the same, we are ready now to start game 2. So once again, let's say our opponent is going first, and then pass it to us. We can draw a card, charge a card, tap, and let's say summon Aqua Guard, end the turn, and the game just continues on like this. Let's say now we draw a card, I will charge a mana again, and let's say we play Emerald. Now when Emerald is put into the battle zone, you may add a card from your hand to your shields face down, and if you do, choose one of your shields and put it into your hand. So let's say that I want to add this Aqua Surfer to my shields. How do I do that? Well, everything is done through right clicking. So I can right click and set as shield, and then because of Emerald I have to take a shield into my hand. So for example this shield, I can just drag it and move it into my hand. And that is pretty much the game. Now you might have noticed that, for example, when I right click on my deck to draw a card, the hotkey for this is written right next to it. So if you're tired of clicking and right clicking on everything, one thing that you can do is just use the hotkeys. After a while you will memorize them. So for example, instead of right clicking to draw a card, I can hit Ctrl D on my keyboard. Instead of, for example, charging this Coral's mana, I can select it with my mouse and then hit Ctrl C, and there we go, it's charged as mana. So there are easier ways to play the game than right clicking and clicking everything, but if you don't want to be bothered learning hotkeys, that is also just perfectly fine. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all you need to know. Of course, practice makes perfect, so if you want to get better at Duel Masters and at using the Octagon platform in general, you can just hop on there and play games. Now of course, since there is no matchmaking and you rely on other players to play the game and join your room and whatnot, a very important part of playing Duel Masters on Octagon is actually finding people to play with. So for that you can join one of the Discord servers that I will link in the video description of this YouTube video. I hope to see you there, and I'm looking forward to playing some games with you. That's all for today, duelists, and as always, take care.